digital education and marketing agency, and we also run a site called Dig Sandbox where we're teaching agencies and their clients to use social media so they can stay up to date at Dig Sandbox. I'm excited because I'm recently engaged. I'm getting married in July, and this has given me a crazy look at the world of Pinterest because it's perfect for planning a wedding, among other things. But I think this is a great way to get in and realize the power and potential of Pinterest. It's really attracting new audiences like my fiance, who otherwise wouldn't be on social media, but she's on there sharing flower arrangement ideas, location ideas, music ideas. People are sharing really intimate details on Pinterest. And so as marketers, we can kind of learn, gather information from that, but also tap in and make sure that they're talking about our products, our services, and what we do. And that's what gets me really excited about Pinterest. So what are we going to learn today? What are we going to talk about? Well, first we're going to talk about what Pinterest is. You've probably all heard about it. You might even be on it, but there's a lot of different things to know about setting it up, making sure that you get started right. Secondly, we want to talk about why does it matter? I know one of the questions we had in the Facebook group was, why another social network, not another one? And it's true. It's really overwhelming, all these different social networks. But Pinterest is unique in a couple of ways. It doesn't mean you have to necessarily use it, but I think it's important to realize the trend of the interest graph and how Pinterest fits in. So we'll talk a lot about that. Thirdly, we're going to talk about how to use it specifically for marketing, for finding a job, for making money as an affiliate, a lot of creative ways to use Pinterest. And we'll go over some advanced tips. So if you're feeling like you want to take your Pinterest skills to the next level, we'll be able to do that as well. So now that we're all excited, pumped, ready to learn about Pinterest, let's jump right in and talk about what Pinterest is. The short version of saying what Pinterest is a visual bookmarking site. It's essentially sharing links with really beautiful pictures. It makes it really easy for people to click through the web to find things that they're interested in, to see what their friends are interested in, to leave comments. And it's just a beautiful, easy to navigate site. I think that's why it attracts a lot of people like my fiance who, maybe isn't as tech savvy or isn't as active on different social networks. A site like Pinterest, she's able to quickly scan through all the flowers that she likes and click on the ones that she likes and drive them right to the site. This means, of course, as marketers, as content creators, that we really need to have beautiful images on our sites. If you weren't already adding photos, now's the time, because if you have nice photos on your page, it's going to drive more traffic from Pinterest. If you need to find photos, go to a site like Flickr, go to the Creative Commons, and there's just beautiful photos waiting to use, and you can pull those in and make your site Pinterest friendly. So that's a little bit about the background of what Pinterest is, but why does it actually matter? How does this really fit into the world of marketing and business? A lot of different reasons why it matters. We'll talk about traffic, demographics, the size and usage, but most importantly, it's still early. Pinterest is it's been around since 2010, but it's just started to take off in recent months, and I think we're going to see it continue to grow exponentially. And so it's a great time to get in. You can play around and get your company out in front of an audience. So let's talk about the traffic. Pinterest traffic numbers are completely insane. It's amazing. So Pinterest hit 10 million US monthly unique visitors faster than any other site in history. Faster than Facebook, faster than Google, faster than anything else, because it's really addictive. And there's actually 12 million plus monthly unique visitors on the site, over 10 million registered users, and like a lot of social networks now, it's really being built on the back of Facebook. So a lot of people using Pinterest are actually connected on Facebook, which means even though you might not think that your audience is on Pinterest, if they're on Facebook, Pinterest is going to help your audience find you. If I'm on Pinterest, I pin something, it'll go to my Facebook wall. All of my friends will see that I pinned your product or service, and that's another way to drive traffic to your site, both from Pinterest and from people connected with Facebook. So we really want to think about Pinterest as a traffic engine, driving lots of views, lots of eyeballs to your site. The demographics, as you've probably heard, it's very female dominated. If we look at the Facebook fans, it's 97% female. In terms of actual gender numbers for users, we don't have that data, but we know that based on what we've seen on Facebook and also on the content, when you look around, people commenting, you see that's heavily female dominated. And this is interesting. It goes against a lot of the other social networks. And in terms of the early adopters, we're not talking about the geeks here. We're really talking more about the fashionistas, the foodistas, people getting married, the audience that you might want to get in touch with but might not be able to with other social networks. So Pinterest offers a really nice avenue to talk to a different audience than other social networks does, and specifically females. In terms of usage, also pretty crazy on Pinterest. Over a fifth of the Facebook connected users are on Pinterest every single day. That means over 2 million members who are on Pinterest are on it every single day. So in terms of the frequency of people coming back, it's highly addictive. It definitely has that stickiness. I know one of my friends who uses it says every time she's at a red light, she's pulling up the iPhone app and just flipping through it. I'm not recommending that as a strategy, but it just gives an idea that people are coming to the site frequently. And what Pinterest actually does is it curates content towards what you end up liking. We'll talk a little bit more about this with the interest graph, but basically if I'm into travel, I'm going to see more pins about travel. And so if your content fits into a nice interest area, you're going to be seen by people that are going to be your target audience, your potential customers. That makes Pinterest very interesting and also very addictive for us as users. Fortunately, you don't have to feel like you're behind. It's still very early, but it's increasing rapidly. In fact, in January, Pinterest drove more traffic, more referral traffic than YouTube, Google+, and LinkedIn combined. And that's pretty incredible. And it's increased 145% just since the start of this year. So exponential growth, a lot of traffic, a lot of interesting audience members out there, which means that it's a very interesting network for your business to use and take advantage of. So why does Pinterest matter as we move forward in the marketing world in the months to come? Is it just another network that we have to worry about? I believe that Pinterest is profoundly different because it follows what I call the interest graph. When we look at social networks such as Facebook, LinkedIn, even Twitter to some extent, those networks really mimic our social lives in real life. People that we've met, gone to school with, people we've talked with, we connect with them on Facebook, on LinkedIn. People we have some kind of often real world or at least have talked to them online. That's what we call the social graph. Pinterest, however, is looking at the interest graph. So I have nothing in common with anyone else that I'm following on Pinterest, except that we share a common interest, maybe in travel, maybe in the Minnesota Twins. It's hard to be a fan, but there's some of us out there. And on Pinterest, what you're able to do is you don't have to have this approval process. You don't even have to have this of who is this kind of process. It's really just, oh, they're really interested in travel. I'm going to watch and follow what they do. As a business, this means you can really set yourself up as the expert in a certain niche. If your agency, for example, specializes in visual marketing, you can publish nice visuals up on your Pinterest board, and people who are designers will come in there, start following you. Even if they don't know who you are or want to do business with you necessarily, you can start dominating that interest area. And I think that's why Pinterest is very interesting moving forward. Other social networks are starting to move towards this. You know, the hashtag in Twitter obviously does this. On Google Circles, you can create circles of interest areas, but I think Pinterest is the first network that really hits home the interest graph and takes advantage of it fully by making it easy to navigate, putting all that related content in one area for us. So I think Pinterest matters. It doesn't necessarily have to be for you or your business, but the nice thing is that once you put your content up there, there's no sort of daily requirement of coming back like you would have on Facebook answering questions. You know, putting your content up there allows it to be spread and shared, and so it's less of a time commitment. So I think it's a definite great place to be for businesses. So we've talked a little bit about why it matters. So how do we actually start using it? Pinterest isn't open completely yet. You have to request an invite. If you do it on the website, it takes 3 to 5 days. But if you want to get in right away, just send me an email, info@nineclouds.com, and we'll go ahead and just send you an invite. So if you know anyone on Pinterest, or again, if you want me to bring you in, one of your friends who's already on Pinterest can get you in immediately. When you are ready to join Pinterest, you have the option to log in with Facebook or log in with Twitter. And this is the place that a lot of businesses have problems. A lot of us naturally want to say, let's log in with Facebook because that's maybe my biggest audience. But unfortunately, thus far, Pinterest only syncs with personal Facebook accounts. And so if you're going to log in with Facebook, it's going to be with your Facebook personal account, not with your business page. So what I'm recommending for businesses at this point, log in with Twitter if you have a Twitter account. If you don't have a Twitter account, it might be a good time just to start one, even just to log into Pinterest so that you can get started without messing your personal and business life in one. If you are on Twitter and you log in with Twitter, you'll then be able to follow anyone that's on your Twitter feed immediately. And you'll notice that this really grows your follower count quickly. If you have a nice base of people somewhere else, transfer them over to Pinterest, and they're going to start following you and following your pins right away. So once once we're signed into Pinterest, how can we as marketers start to use it? Well, the first way is definitely traffic, which is by far and away the most effective use of Pinterest. So how do we kind of get that traffic? What we do is we create boards. You can see here Nordstrom has a Pinterest account, and they have different boards. One of their boards is prom inspiration at Nordstrom's. Another board is spring trends. Another board is New York Fashion Week. So you can see that they're not just creating boards that says our shirts, our shoes, our pants. Instead, they're creating thematic boards that are getting people excited around a certain interest area. Prom's coming up for a lot of those high schoolers, so they're putting up products that fit to prom so that more people want to follow that board and share their links. And when they click on that link, it'll take them ultimately to the product on Nordstrom's. And that's an important step with Pinterest for return on investment. We have to be able to convert this traffic when it comes to your site. It doesn't matter if you get 1,000 people coming from one pin that you put up if you don't have any kind of conversion mechanism. So think deeply about where you're going to send these people after you put up the pin. Where's the pin going to link to? If we link just to your home page, do you have a clear call to action there, or are they going to get lost? Are you going to direct them directly to a product or a service where they can sign up, or can we maybe send them to something that's less of a commitment, maybe signing up for a newsletter list, or liking you on Facebook, or connecting in another way? We want to make sure that this traffic is easily converted because I would say the traffic from Pinterest is only going to return if you have another pin. It's difficult to get people to click through and stay on your site. So definitely think about how can we convert this traffic, and let's use it as marketers as a traffic source, putting together boards that are thematic and have those keywords people might be searching for. Another way people are using Pinterest, of course, just like they use Facebook, is for contests to generate more traffic, more buzz, more awareness of a product. And we've seen a number of different types of contests people have done on Pinterest, and they've done quite well. The first one is that you can encourage your fans on Pinterest to create their own board of their favorite products or services from your company. You can then go to their boards. If they title it a certain way, you can either search or they can link it on the comment section. And you can choose your best board, the one that you like the best to be the winner. Another type of contest people are doing is a repin to win, which is essentially you put up a pin of one of your products or services or a picture you like or whatever it might be, and other people will repin that, and you can then click on those repins and see of those who have repinned it, who got the most action, who got the most repins. So I might repin your photo, and 2 of my friends will also repin it, whereas Sean will repin it, and 10 of his friends will. So he would be the winner in that case. The third one, of course, is just choose a winner at random. Encourage people to get involved. Just show them that you're interested, that you're on Pinterest, and then just choose the one that is your favorite or at random. So these contests are good at generating followers to your boards, also at generating web traffic, because essentially it's like a retweet on Twitter. More people are sharing it. The nice thing about it is it's visual. So if you have a nice photo, people are going to be more likely to respond and click on it than a simple retweet link. Another great way that Pinterest can be used for marketing is to set yourself up as a thought leader. If you're an expert in a specific area, definitely create a board around that area and start sharing links. They don't necessarily have to be yours. We don't always have to be focused on driving traffic to our own site, but instead positioning ourselves as the most educated and well-known people within a niche. A great example is a company that I'm also co-founder of is Lemonly, and we create infographics. And so infographics, of course, incredibly popular all over the web, and we share our infographics on Pinterest, but we also share infographics that we like. That way people know they can follow our board to see the best art on the web. We're going to intermix our own products in there because we believe our infographics are some of the best on the web, but they'll also see infographics from our competitors. The main thing is they know that we're educated, we know what's out there, and when they have an idea, when they say we want an infographic about our new analytics tool, we can say, all right, go to our Pinterest wall and tell us a few of them that you like. So for designers, for web designers, for graphic designers, Pinterest is also great as a way to generate a portfolio and get ideas, creative ideas that your customers might speed up the process, the creation process, and give you a better idea of what they want. So think about using Pinterest as a thought leader. Think about how you can use it to effectively set yourself apart from the crowd. So let's think of some creative ways to use Pinterest you might not have thought of. One of my favorites is actually using Pinterest to find a job. If anyone out there is looking for a job, Pinterest is an awesome resume because you can just send a link to your Pinterest account, and there you can have all the information. It can be links to your other sites online. It can be a short personal statement, testimonials, embedded video explaining what you do, why you're impressive, a QR code that people can scan right from Pinterest. So there's a lot of creative ways that you can use Pinterest to showcase not just a portfolio, but even more testimonials and things that'll convince a potential employer that you're the right one for the job. Christopher Penn did a great article on that on his blog. I encourage you to read that if you're thinking about finding a job with Pinterest. If you have an audience already, you're not looking for a new job, you're just looking to convert your current audience, one of my favorite ways to use Pinterest is as an affiliate. If you have affiliate links out there, if you're encouraging people to sign up for products, Pinterest is a great way to drive more traffic, and you can actually use your affiliate links in those links to get paid for it. And there's a lot of questions initially about Pinterest. How did they make money? And one of the ways people were talking about was they actually would change the links on Pinterest to affiliate links for themselves. But what people have found is that if you put your own affiliate link in to a pin, Pinterest will not change that link, so you'll still get credit for it. So one of the things I do on my Pinterest wall is I just put products that I love. And these are affiliate products that I use and that I promote. You know, things like WordPress templates, Travel Hacking Cartel, Bluehost for my online hosting. Just simple products that I use every single day. It's a really easy way for me to answer questions when people email or call and say, you know, I'm looking for a place to host my website. I just send them a link to my Pinterest page, and then they can click on it, and I'll get the affiliate credit if they choose to use that product. So if you have an audience, think about Pinterest to drive affiliate traffic and cash. It's a very lucrative way to use Pinterest. All right, we're all ready to the advanced section. You guys are Pinterest experts so quickly. I'm very happy for you. So let's talk about some advanced Pinterest tips, things you might not have known that you could do, and this will help you kind of take Pinterest to the next level. So let's talk first about the dollar sign. A really simple addition, nothing too complex, but if you, in your description of your pin, add a dollar or pound sign, it'll actually put a nice little banner across the top left corner with the price. This is a great way, if you're selling a product especially, you can just put in the price right there. People can compare your product side by side with the price and have a quick look at what they want to buy. This is also a great way, if you're competitive on price with your other competitors, to stand out from the crowd. Why not create a board, for example, if you sell shoes, of all the competitors' shoes, put the price for every single one, as well as the price for yours. If you're the cheapest, if you have the best features, and then you can show that in a photo and a short description, it's going to mean that more people will purchase from you. So think about using the dollar sign strategically to show what to buy and how much things cost. Video embed. A lot of people don't know that you can embed videos right onto Pinterest. So if you have great YouTube videos out there, create a board of your video testimonials. Create a board of your video tutorials. Create a board of your favorite cat dancing LOL lolcat videos, whatever it might be. You can create a board with the videos and they'll play right in there. Very slick, nice to use, and it looks really beautiful as well. So definitely think about using video. You can just go to the YouTube page where your video is hosted and click the pin button, which you can install on your Safari browsers, or you can also do it directly by copying the URL from YouTube into the Pinterest website. So we'll talk a little bit about that. If you have questions on that or anything else, definitely feel free to throw them into the questions section here on the GoToMeeting. All right, no questions yet. That's good. So let's take a look then at editing links. This is the big one that people don't know about. This is going to help you as a business stand out. When you're creating your Pinterest boards, it'll automatically grab the link from wherever the image is. That might not be where you want them to go. For example, if you have an affiliate link, you're going to need to change that link to your affiliate version. So after you pin something, you can actually click See the Pin and click Edit. And there you'll see the description, the link, the board it's on, and you could delete the pin as well. You can actually change the link to an affiliate link right there. Or if you don't have a nice image on your website, what I often recommend is go to a website or page with a beautiful image or picture, pin that website. It'll grab the image for you. You can write your description, and then go in and change the link to something on your website. This is also very useful if you have a landing page, a form that people are filling out. You might not have a beautiful image on that landing page or splash page, so pin a different page on your website and then change the link so it goes specifically to the landing page. You can do this with any of your links. It's a great way to drive traffic exactly where you want them to go and to make sure that affiliates work for you as well. All right, so once we've edited the link, we want to go and find connections. As I mentioned, the interest graph is incredibly different than the social graph. We can actually go out there and find potential customers that are already interested in travel if we're a travel agency, or already interested in hairstyles if we're a beauty salon, whatever it might be. On Pinterest, right on the home page, you can click on the word everything, and it's going to show you all the different categories there on Pinterest. And so just go into the category that you want to be an expert in, or that you're just interested in yourself, and start following people within that section. Lots of times they will follow you back, so that's a great way to build your followers. And it's a great way also to keep up on an industry. If you want to know the latest in food and drink, you can go in, start following people, and you're going to get great recipes. And that's actually the #1 way right now Pinterest is being used, is for recipes. So if you don't know what to eat tonight, maybe Pinterest is the place to find it. So add some connections. If you can sync with Twitter or Facebook, that'll also grow your follower count quite quickly. Definitely recommended to do. So we're getting towards the end. It's time for talking about the Pinterest handbook and a giveaway. If you want to learn more about Pinterest, more than what we've talked about today, we actually have a handbook that's free to download. You can go to digsandbox.com/Pinterest to get a link for it. It's Dig Sandbox for Digital Sandbox. And for viewers of today's webinar, we are actually launching our Advanced Pinterest Handbook tomorrow. And so if you download our handbook, our beginner's handbook that's available currently, we'll email that to you tomorrow, and you'll be ready to implement the advanced tips on Pinterest. You can also learn more about Sandbox there. If you need any tutorials on using Pinterest or have questions, you can get your answers there as well. So now it's exciting time. We get to ask and answer some questions, and I know we already had some in the Facebook group, and so I encourage you, if you have questions after this seminar or something that you forgot to ask, you can put it up in the Facebook group. I'll go back in and check throughout the week and answer questions for you, and we can make sure to answer any questions you have there. I'm going to start with the questions that are in the GoToWebinar control panel, and one of them was, do you have to disclose that you're using affiliate links per FTC requirements? I would recommend doing that in the description section of your pin. Or you can also do it at the top of the board. As you recall, I had products I love. You can write in the top of that board that these are products that I use personally and I'm also an affiliate for. And then when you pin them, they're all underneath that board and you have that coverage for the FTC. So that's a great question, Kristen. Thanks for throwing that out there. So Morris was asking about, he said he's still waiting for his invite to Pinterest. Is that the only way to be part of it? Morris, I can help you out. Email me info@nineclouds.com and we'll get you in right away. Pinterest is usable in any web browser, not just Safari. But Safari is just the one that I said when I was talking about it. So Marina asked a great question. If I'm using other designer photos as illustrations to my ebook, what copyrights am I violating? Let's talk about copyright. That's great. That was a question on the Facebook group as well. And it's an issue a lot of people are talking about around the web because honestly it's not quite clear. What most people have said is that it constitutes fair use because you're using a thumbnail. And as previous court cases have shown, a thumbnail that forces you to click to another version is considered fair use. Other people say that it's not considered fair use, but they're assuming that it probably won't cause any problems because it's actually helping the businesses that you're often pinning. And so the benefit far outweighs the negative side. I would say at present, there's not a definitive answer on copyright, but most experts are saying that it's not going to cause any problems, that it generally falls under fair use, and that as businesses we can go ahead and go out there and use it because the businesses that we're pinning are also going to see advantages from it. So there are questions out there, but I would say on the whole, the copyright question shouldn't stop you from using Pinterest. And as you download our handbooks, we'll also keep things up to date. So if there are any court cases or rulings that come out about Pinterest or things that people say, we'll make sure to update you as well so that you can stay on the forefront of that. So thanks for the question, Marina. I know that's a question a lot of people have. A question from Andrew was, what if you are if you're an expert in an area that's not listed in the everything scroll down? That's fine. On Pinterest, at the very top, you can actually just search in the search bar for any keyword. And that's actually going to search in the descriptions of each pin. You can also use hashtags like people do on Twitter or @ to mention people specifically. And just like you would on the web, you want the keywords that you want to be found for in your description. So that if I'm searching for online education or tutorials for social media, things that we do at Sandbox, I'm going to want to make sure those keywords are in my description so that maybe I don't find the right category on the everything dropdown, but they can search in the search bar and they can find me that way. So it's a great way to get people to find you and also find other people that you want to convert into customers. All right, Michelle said, cool, wanting to know more about Pinterest. I'm glad. So Karina said, how can we work with you? I need to build my personal brand. Thanks, Karina. That's really nice of you. You can visit nineclouds.com to talk to me. You can always email me info@nineclouds.com. You can see my personal data here on the slide as well. What we do with businesses is we're really educating them, and then we're providing inbound marketing. So if that's something that interests you, definitely get in touch and we can talk more about it. How about Marina? She said, how do I join the Facebook group? Well, that'll be if you go to Facebook and search for the name of the group, which is Social Marketing Tribe, you can request to join, and then Sean and their crew will get you in. Andrew asked if you can create a category. You can't create a category that'll fit underneath the everything dropdown, but you can create your own boards. So what I would recommend is create a board in the category that you want to put your pins. So if you're going to be, say you're a car company trying to sell cars, create a board about the best convertibles, and then put your pins of all the different convertibles there. There's obviously not a convertible category, but that'll make sure when people search for convertible that you're the most relevant result. All right, Marina asked, do I have to give credit to a site that I'm pinning in my book? I'm trying to understand it exactly. I think you're meaning if you pin from, say, scottdavidmeyer.com, do you have to note that in the footnotes of your book? Not necessarily. I don't think there's, I'm not sure on that question. On Pinterest, if you pin from my site, by default the link is going to go to my site. So the only reason it wouldn't go to my site would be if you edited it yourself. So in general, you're already giving people credit by pinning from their site. All right, a question from KE asked, if you change the link to an image, will that violate copyright, or is that considered fair use? Everything I'm reading is saying that it's considered fair use as well. If you are taking an image from someone else and linking to a site without that image there, I would highly recommend putting credit, just like you would if you used an image on the Creative Commons from Flickr on your blog post. Do the same thing in the description section. And again, you probably only need to edit the link if you're trying to drive people somewhere else. If you're just trying to establish yourself as a thought leader, you can probably just pin it right from their site. All right, Alan asked if there's any real application for B2B. That's a great question, Alan. I think it's more B2C at present. What I would say B2B, the best way to use it is going to be that video testimonial type of section. If you can create a board that gives people a way to look at your previous projects, portfolios, and people who have worked with you, that'll be really nice for B2B, building legitimacy with the clients. That's going to be very useful for B2B. The other way to think about it, is you have these other sites, these other tools such as email, LinkedIn, things like that that you might be using for B2B marketing. How can Pinterest augment or really push that forward? If your best channel is on LinkedIn, let's create a board with the best LinkedIn resources, and one of those is going to be a link to your profile. If your best resource is an email newsletter, let's make sure to put up pins of your best newsletters in the past, the best resources you've shared, and a clear pin that says sign up. You can just create an image that says sign up here. When people click on it, they would go to the sign up page. It doesn't necessarily have to be a photo that's already out there. You can just create an image and put it up yourself. Does Pinterest give you any SEO juice? Well, it gives you SEO juice because you're getting more links, so it does give you quite a bit of juice. We've seen a lot of referral traffic and an increase in ratings on our sites and sites for our clients using Pinterest, so I definitely recommend it. Another question. Let's see, would pinning blog posts with nice photos be a good idea? It would be a fantastic idea, Sheila. I think that's going to be one of the best ways to get people to read your blog. As I said, it's much more visually appealing, more likely that people will click on it if there's a photo than just a link, say, on Twitter. And it also forces you to create blog posts with beautiful images, which in general makes people want to stay around longer. So it's a great way to increase blog traffic for you or your business. And how active is Pinterest to audiences outside of the United States? It's increasing quickly, but it's not nearly as large as the United States users currently. Obviously, there's no borders, no limits to what Pinterest can do. You can pin sites that are international. People abroad can click on the pins and come to your site. Right now, you're going to see most of the traffic in the United States, however, but I would expect that to change quite quickly. So I would say if you are abroad, it's a great chance to become a leader, one of the first people to use Pinterest well. So KE has another great question. Do you have any examples of companies using Pinterest the best way? You mentioned Nordstrom and a couple of others, but do you have others? Sure. One of the ones I really like actually is Whole Food. I talked about recipes being a really popular way people are using Pinterest, and I think that they do a great job of not just saying like, here's our fruit, here's our vegetables, but instead they have a board like what's growing in your garden, and it's pictures of the plants growing, not necessarily of the produce. They might have a board of recipes, and of course if you want to make that recipe, you can go to Whole Food to get the products to do it. So thinking a little bit about how could you use a board, not just showing your products, but showing people using your products. If you are a convertible car dealer, maybe it's the coolest looking dice hanging in the rearview mirror. People are going to be interested in that, and when they start looking at the photos and seeing that it's linked to a convertible car dealership, maybe they're more interested in your product. So be a little creative. You don't always have to go direct to the product, but instead to the interest area, getting that interest graph, utilizing that, getting people around it to know about your company is useful. So Michelle asked, do you know of any analytics that more realistically gauge referral traffic with respect to bounce rate of folks who don't really stay on the websites that we're linked to? Well, we oftentimes do a lot of custom analytics with Google Analytics, which is, of course, the free tool. Another company that we've worked a lot with, and now a client, Ikanow, IKANOW.com, they actually combine open source analytics softwares to get amazingly specific data. And so that's another way to really take advantage of that. For bounce rate, you're going to want to just look on, if you're using Google Analytics, you can drill down to all the traffic from Pinterest and then see time on site or the bounce rate just of those visitors, and that'll give you a good idea of if Pinterest is valuable for you. We always recommend having some kind of conversion form, so that if people come to your site from Pinterest and fill out a form, that's going to be more valuable than just a lot of eyeballs. So that's important to keep in mind. One of the other things I wanted to mention, knowing that this kind of shows, I think, that Pinterest is working and is pretty popular, is it already has knockoff sites. If you're a little bit hesitant, or if you just want to try the other end of the spectrum, there's a site now called Manteresting, which is essentially Pinteresting except supposedly for men. And instead of pinning something up, you put it up with a nail. So I think the fact that Pinterest is already creating spawns shows that it's very powerful, and I think it's going to be around for a while. A couple questions here from Marina. She said, I had a comment from one of the repins after my blog post that was amazing. Do I try to befriend that person on Facebook? I would definitely follow up with that person on any social network that you can. The more connections you have with them, the more likely that you'll stay in touch with them and could possibly make them into a customer. So if you can find them on Facebook, that's fine. If people are synced Pinterest and Facebook, or Pinterest and Twitter, it's going to be easier to find them. So definitely follow up when you can. And you can also just leave a comment after their comment on your pin, and that should help you start a conversation with them as well. And how would I encourage comments on the blog rather than on Pinterest? Well, it's a good question. I think you want to make sure that your description on Pinterest clearly calls people to go to your blog. So instead of just saying like, here's my new blog post, you might say, this post is about traveling to Mexico, click here to learn the 5 best ways to get started. Something that's going to drive them to the site. And then on the site, we want to make sure we have a comment section that's easy to see and clearly actionable. Another thing to note is that Pinterest does offer a button, just like Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook does. And adding that Pinterest button to your blog posts is a great way to build traffic. So if you go to pinterest.com and then go under settings, I believe it is, you can actually find the code for that button and just drop it into your site just like you would any other social network, and that'll enable people to pin your product. So it's a great way to get people to pin things without them having to do all the work themselves. Make it easy for people and make sure that's very visible and easy to use. There's no age limit on Pinterest, Julie. Thanks for asking. She's a teacher in an elementary school. Students can't use Facebook. Again, if they don't have to sync with Facebook, so you can actually go to Pinterest without being a member as well. So if you just want them to go to Pinterest and look at things, not necessarily pin things themselves, they can just go to pinterest.com and look around. As you see on the slide, you can go to pinterest.com/ScottDavidMeyer and see my pins, even if you're not a member or not logged in. So no age limit there. Sheila came here slightly indifferent. She's excited, so I'm glad for that. Sheila, thanks for getting excited. Glad you were here today. Definitely follow up with any questions you have. So KE asks, can you optimize items? Does it help with SEO? Also, is there recommended image size? So Pinterest will reformat your image smaller. So make sure your image is big enough, for maybe even 100 pixels wide is probably going to be big enough. In terms of SEO, the more traffic and links you get from Pinterest is going to help your SEO, not necessarily the titles on Pinterest itself, but those titles on Pinterest will help more people find it. So that's why when you title your boards or your descriptions, you want to make sure you have those keywords that you're trying to attract on the descriptions. That way when I'm searching on the Pinterest search bar, I'm going to find you, I'm going to find your pin, and I'm going to be more likely to go to your site, and that'll build your SEO over time. So just like you would on other sites, make sure that you title things well. Great questions here. Carrie asked if you can build an email list with Pinterest. You definitely could. You're going to have to drive people off of Pinterest to sign up on another site, but definitely give people a reason to sign up for your email list through your pins. So maybe you have a visual demonstration, a video perhaps of what your company does, and maybe your description says if you want to learn more, get a free demo, get your free version, click here to sign up for our email list. So that's a fun way to do it. Marina, thanks. You're the best. Thanks for the comment. Love having you here. So Robin asked, how do we get the free info that you mentioned? The site I visited asked for a credit card to sign up. Yeah, you don't need a credit card to sign up. If you go to digsandbox.com/Pinterest, just read the top of that page. There's a link to it. I'll actually put a direct link also right here in the chat right now. Just a little bit longer, so I wanted to make sure you guys had a easier one. So I just put that into the questions section there. Probably should put it into the chat as well, and then you can feel free to download that information, and that is free to use. If you want to use Dig Sandbox, it's $27 a month, and that's seminars on every kind of social media site out there with video tutorials, courses that are taught at universities, so you can go back to school for a pretty cheap price and no contract. So that's why you saw the credit card prompt there on the link. So Michelle said, I've heard Pinterest usage is predominantly female. Should we use Mantrist if our product may appeal more to males? You could try. I don't think Mantrist is for real right now. It's more of a joke site. So I would stick to Pinterest. I think the males are going to catch up. But I would definitely throw something up on Manteresting, I guess it's called. It might be interesting to see if anything converts there. Doesn't take much time either. So. All right, Dick asks, can you repeat the email address to get started? Of course. The email address, and I'll put it in the chat as well, is info@nineclouds.com. So 9Clouds is the consultancy that I run with my founder brother, John. And you guys can email me there, and I'll send you an invite here today after the webinar. So it's been a great question there, Dick. And Marie asked the same question. There, you got it. Is there a suggested number of boards, Karen asked, or is it unlimited? It's unlimited, but people are only going to see, they're probably not going to scroll down that far on your site. So you can rearrange your boards, and I would put your most important boards first. the first couple across the site is is going to make the most difference and get the most views. So definitely should think about that first. But make as many boards as you want. My fiance and I, we've made a ton of boards, different things about flowers for the wedding, music for the wedding, whatever it might be. One important thing to note is there's no private boards on Pinterest. And so if you have information that's sensitive or that somebody shouldn't know, if we're trying to post something about the wedding and we want it to be a surprise, Pinterest is not the place to do it because it is public. So just keep that in mind. KE asked, I've got various groups targeting small businesses and marketers. Could I get you to do this seminar for them? Sure. KE, just email me, info@nineclouds.com. It's in the chat, and we can follow up with that. So Fadi asked if we can, or how to arrange the boards. Great question, Fadi. Let me just go right over to my page, and I'll show that on your screen. So you should be able now to see my Pinterest boards here, and we can just click rearrange boards in the top right, and that's going to allow us to just drag these boards around, and when we're ready, we just click save arrangements. So that's how we can do that. Great question. All right. Can you show an example, Fadi? I just did by accident, so that worked out well. Thanks for the question. Anything else here on Pinterest? So one of the things we had talked about was for adding the button on the website, and that's going to be under your name and under settings. That's where we'll get that one. So that'll be a way that you can add that Pinterest button to your blog or website and get more people to add. To pin your products. Oh, and maybe I'm even wrong here. It's going to be about and the pin it button. So it's good that you made me do that in public. You can see it here under the goodies. The other thing that I haven't mentioned is you can add pin it to your bookmarks bar. So for example, here on my website, on my browser, you can see the pin it bar. Whenever I'm on a website, I can just click that and it adds it to my Pinterest automatically. And you can do that as well by going to about and the pin it button. So some great tips there, great questions. If there's any others, feel free to throw them in now. I've had a great pleasure chatting with you guys today. There seems to be a lot of interest on Pinterest, so I hope that you can download that guide and that'll help you out getting started. And tomorrow I'll give you the advanced version, so you'll be ready to take a step forward. If you want to learn more about myself, you can go to linkedin.com/Scott David Meyer. You can always visit Dig Sandbox, where we teach people about technology, or even our homepage, nineclouds.com. I didn't put that on there today because we're mostly just talking about education, but that's where our consultancy is. So I think we'll leave it there for now. I've had a great time chatting with you. You have a great afternoon. If you have more questions, remember to put them in that Facebook group that Sean and Lewis are running, and I'll be happy to answer them there or via email at any time. And I look forward to seeing you on Pinterest. Make sure to follow me, pin me up so that I can pin you back and we can start sharing each other's content. And if you have any feedback for Sean, for Lewis, for myself, make sure to contact them or myself and we'll be happy to help you out. So I hope you guys have a pintastic day and we will talk very soon. Thank you very much.